Tonight, it's Harvard 2, Trump 0. A federal judge finding the administration broke the law by freezing billions of dollars in research funding at the school in the name of fighting anti-Semitism. Now, it's the same judge who blocked Trump's ban on international students at the school in June. And she writes, quote, "We must fight against anti-Semitism, but we equally need to protect our rights, including our right to free speech, and neither goal nor needs to be sacrificed on the other." The White House says it'll immediately appeal this decision. Christine Quinn joins us at the table now. And Dan, I'm curious, what do you think about this ruling and where it heads now?
Well, look, I think as a legal matter, the judge is probably right. And we've talked about this before, actually, on this show, that the link of the funding on medical funding to anti-Semitism made no sense, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Of course, the funding being withheld wasn't about anti-Semitism. Their argument in court is, well, anti-Semitism is a legitimate goal to try to fix. And by the way, they may be right about anti-Semitism at Harvard, right, and Columbia, and a lot of these other Ivy League schools. You can believe that, as I do, that there was a real anti-Semitism problem going on for a while at these schools, and also believe that withholding the funding had nothing to do with that. And so that's what the judge here is saying, is that there was no nexus between those two, but there's going to be an appeal on this. I mean, look, this is just round one here. Right. I don't think sort of drawing broad conclusions about sort of what's going to happen now from this particular ruling, you know, and the Trump administration, as you know, really believes it's not over until the Supreme Court weighs in.
On any subject, frankly. But I mean, for the schools that did settle with the administration before ever even attempting to litigate, Columbia University, $221 million, Brown University, $50 million, University of Pennsylvania made some changes. There are other schools that have not settled with Trump but have had their money frozen. It does seem to indicate that there is some benefit, potentially, to just fighting and seeing where the chips fall.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's benefit in a couple of different levels. One, it's just the correct thing to do if you are an institution of higher learning, to stand up and say you're not going to be controlled by the federal government, that the First Amendment means something. Beyond that, there's every, reason to believe that if you settle, the amount you're going to have to pay is going to be very significant. And it's going to be much harder, I think, to get your alumni network and other donors to rally once you've settled versus if you're fighting the good fight on behalf of the First Amendment and academic freedom. And it's interesting, further on in the judge's decision, she references that there could be, we don't know, many Jewish people who have been fired because of the potential cuts in funding, that research into conditions that affect the Jewish community more than others may be.
Because everyone needs a good Jewish doctor, right?
And that research may be hampered, and that that withholding the funds could have a more negative impact on the Jewish community.
Let me read what the judge said. Make no mistake, Harvard rejects anti-Semitism and discrimination in all of its form. Excuse me, this is what the Harvard statement says. Harvard rejects anti-Semitism and discrimination in all its forms, actively making structural reforms to eradicate anti-Semitism on campus. But rather than engage with Harvard regarding those ongoing efforts, the government announced a sweeping freeze of funding for medical, scientific, technological, and other research that had nothing at all to do with anti-Semitism. And it does raise the question of, did the administration really try, in good faith, to work with Harvard to rectify the problem, to resolve the anti-Semitism problem, or was the goal to try to get other money? First of all, money being the main goal, because Trump has said he wants a certain dollar amount.
Well, they obviously work with other colleges to get concessions on making changes on campus that had obviously, on other campuses that had obviously made serious mistakes. My view is there'll be an appeal. I don't know where the legal case is going to shake out. I think this has been really embarrassing for Harvard. I mean, now you have a federal judge saying anti-Semitism is intolerable. It is clear, even based solely on Harvard's own admission, that Harvard has been plagued by anti-Semitism, could have done a better job dealing with the issue. I mean, it is now widely known throughout our entire society that our nation's flagship university, perhaps formerly, was plagued by anti-Semitism, and this administration was willing to call it out and fight it out. It's a fight worth having.
As you just read, Harvard acknowledged
Right.
that in a very lengthy report that it created itself.
But they would never have done it
to
if it hadn't been for
to
Trump.
your
Too late.
point,
They
to
would
what-
never
to
admit
what
it if
you-
it hadn't been for Trump.
That's not true.
That's not
To
true.
what you just
Chronologically,
read.
Come on.
That's not
To
true.
exactly. Chronologically, factually, that's not true. What you just read indicated that yes, it is embarrassing to Harvard, but Harvard themselves acknowledged it, created an entire
It still doesn't mean
report
there's not
to try to
ramifications for
figure
your
out what to
actions.
do about it.
I-
And the question again for the Trump administration is, are they really serious on the anti-Semitism piece? And if they were,
Yes,
were-
I can
would
assure
they,
you.
would they not be
Yes.
serious about wanting to fix the problem
Right.
rather than
Here's
get
the
a
part that's
dollar
amazing.
amount out
It's
of Harvard?
amazing to me that like we're cheerleading for Harvard, standing up to the Trump administration, but we're not saying that they should have done that to anti-Semitism when it was rampant on their campuses to the point where Jewish students had to sue the university. So it's like we're going to stand up to Donald Trump. We're going to fight. By the way, I'm going to make a prediction. Donald Trump's going to win this one. It's going to be a win for him. It will be appealed. He will win. But again, you go back to Harvard's sin. The sin was they created a university and an atmosphere where Jewish students did not feel safe to the point where they had to sue. Now we have a judge saying that this is a place that was not safe for Jewish students. And people are like, well, at least Harvard stand up to Trump. That's insanity.
No one is saying that anti-Semitism is okay. And Harvard itself
But we're
has said-
overlooking it because we're standing up to Trump.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. The judge herself
You
has
said it
said,
a second ago. I'm glad they're standing
I
up to
am
Trump.
glad they are,
Why
and
not?
I'm
glad
also
that, that Harvard has been reprimanded because they
I am
put
also
kids'
glad that
lives at risk at Harvard.
I'm
because
also
they're
glad
Jewish.
that
Can't you
there is
believe
a
both?
plan for
I don't
promulgated
think
by
I don't think you
Harvard.
guys are talking
It
about
is-
both.
it-
You're talking about
I-
one.
I just start. I
It
just
is
start.
often-
I agree,
We're in
but
the
I'm saying
middle
both.
of
often-
it.
Okay. But she's saying it's
often at
about
the
I
that.
was asked a question
Often
and I
at this
answered.
table, a failure to hold multiple ideas at the in our minds at the same time is the reason that we end up in these back and forths. But it is possible to say
Yes.
Harvard was wrong, and also, as the judge has said, you cannot try to rectify that by stomping on other rights.
Harvard just made a deal like
well,
the other universities did.
But the problem is, what
No.
happens when those? One
yeah.
quick point. So they made deals, right? What happens when there's another anti-Semitic incident now on one of those campuses?
then actually deal with it.
Oh,
and
no,
don't brush
okay.
it under the rug like Harvard
wait,
did.
no.
And allow it to fester.
But you know what else is going to happen? There's going to be another threat.
Right.
You're going down a
But
dangerous
if you have
road with these
institutional
deals.
control where you don't allow for anti-Semitism
Right. No,
to
I agree. I
flourish,
agree. But you were making
then you don't have to worry about that.
But you're making the point that each school was smart to make the deal.
Yeah.
And as a practical matter, in a short term, they were. But long term, I don't know because
But if
because
you-
they
if
can't
you have
control
great
it.
leadership-
I gotta
Again, if you
let
have great
Nina have a
leadership,
word
you
here.
don't have
Go
to
ahead.
worry
Nina.
No, I
about
mean, Abby, your point is well taken. More than one thing can be true at the same time, and we just got to accept that.
Right.
And the judge made a ruling. So legally, the Trump administration will get a chance to appeal, and I agree with Dan. As it goes up the chain, we will see what happens. But to a hammer, everything is a nail. And so I do not necessarily believe that the president, through his actions on this issue, really tried to work this out without penalty first. He went in to penalize first instead of saying, let's take care of this and get this right.
They weren't
I'm glad
fixing
that
their own.
Harvard admitted it, working to rectify it. Discrimination, racism, bigotry of any form should not be tolerated on any
Amen.
campus.